Hi guys, welcome back to Eastern Healing Land. Today I am recording on my laptop so that I can do a little bit of screen sharing. And so I apologize if the audio and the picture is not quite as good as when I record on my phone. So let's go ahead and dive in. This week we are going to be talking about the three three of the many forms of body work that are based on traditional Chinese medicine principles. So all of these use those foundations of principles that we have been learning about through our time together. But we will not be suggesting any hands-on activities. And there's a reason for that. This course is specifically in a style of a lecture series versus a hands-on lab technique-based course. We're not trying to teach you to do these things, even though that might be a little bit like frustrating because we're learning all about them and you want to know how to do them. But we are specifically not doing that. And that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, the realm of therapeutic body treatments or therapeutic treatments from Asia is vast, not just philosophically, but like hands-on wise, there's a lot to know. It's deep and it's broad and it's complex and it's layered and it's housed in cultural concepts. And it would require a course of study at least equal to your massage training to become a qualified practitioner, like going to school for a year, focusing on these techniques and concepts. That would be what would be required. And with all of our other specialty sessions that we teach as part of your massage program, you graduate fully certified and capable of performing those treatments professionally. But that would not be the case with a 1-credit class on Eastern Healing. And then two, the Asian bodywork systems are completely autonomous from Western massage. Those modalities like hot stone or sports massage, the skills are based on a foundation of techniques that you already learned in your basic massage training. But Tuina or Shiatsu, those systems are not that way. They're not an extension of your existing skills. They stand alone and require separate. So the purpose of this course is not to teach you how to become a practitioner of Eastern healing modalities. It's to introduce you to the bodywork styles of Asia that have impacted the massage profession so that you can recognize them when you see them and answer questions about them. If your clients ask you about like, oh, can you throw in some pressure points? You know that there's more meat on that bone than just pressing the web of their hand a few times because you heard that was something about headaches, and also to understand when you're interacting with a spa service or something that you might be asked to do, but from your employer, that's based on their ancient philosophical concepts so that you can recognize it when you see it, and when it's blending into services that you might be asked to perform. And then finally, the reason that I just love teaching this class is because I hope that maybe it will inspire you, or at least allow you to decide whether or not pursuing education in these different modalities is the right choice for your career. And maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. You have to make that decision. But one thing I hope all of you do take to heart is that, as massage therapists in the United States, we're the ones who are seen as like the default, the assumed form of bodywork in our home. And that makes it tempting for some people to borrow techniques that they're not fully trained in because they assume that their massage education will be sufficient to provide a foundation for that work. But what I highly encourage you to do is to not make that assumption. And I'm not saying you can't do a fire element seaweed, that's probably not fire element, an ocean element seaweed wrap or whatever you're trained to do at your spa, but just to like recognize and keep an eye out for our elder sister modalities because they're much older than Western massage. And just to encourage you to behave towards those modalities in a respectful way when you see them. So I'll get off my soapbox now and get on to what we're doing this week. And that is focusing on these modalities. Now I've chosen 3. I've chosen Tui Na because it is the oldest, and Amma because it is also very old and represents like a separate niche of Japanese bodywork. And I've also chosen Shiatsu because it has a larger presence in the United States of those bodywork styles. So let's start with Tui Na. Tui Na is the oldest known system of massage and physical therapy in the world. And in your massage books, when they talk about the ancient history of massage as a touch-based healing art, they will say, oh, thousands of years, over 5,000 years of history. And what they're talking about is Tui Na. They're talking about Tui Na and Amma and these older Eastern bodywork therapies from Asia, because we don't have that record in the West. So with Tui Na, you're gonna see it in China. It is still taught today as a separate but equal field of study to, say, acupuncture and herbalism. It does represent one of those pillars of massage, of pillars of TCM, where you can have your career as a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner focused on Tui Na versus acupuncture, herbalism. And you'll know you're looking at Tui Na if you see it, because it has an extremely distinct style of this oscillating hand movement that I do not recommend you attempt without training because you would hurt yourself. But it is applied in accordance with the paths of the meridians and treatment principles of TCM. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do a screen share to a different video on YouTube, and I'll be showing 3 screen share videos in the course of this here. And I will link those videos in the description of this video in case you would like to watch the whole thing. I'm just going to do a small snippet for us here today. But now I got to find the screen share button. Hang on. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this, and I want you to see what I'm talking about here. This extremely distinct, it's having trouble because I'm running Zoom at the same time. This extremely distinct oscillating hand movement. And they utilize that oscillating, rotating hand movement for the massage. It's going to have a problem. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen share. Oh, all right. This is probably going to be an issue that continues. But I hope you can see that they had that extremely distinct oscillating hand movement, and they'll do a similar thing with their fingers, and they'll do a similar thing with like kneading, but it has that rotating, oscillating look. And so when you see that, if you're like out and about, maybe at a seminar or some kind of athletic event where people are doing massage around you, that movement, that is that classic Tui Na movement. Their style encompasses more techniques than just that oscillating movement, but that is one thing that's distinct about Tui Na that that's identifiable, like from across the room, like, oh, that's a Tui Na practitioner, cool, So that's Tui Na. So the next one I want to talk about is Amma. And Amma is, whoops, I'm clicking on the wrong things here. Amma is also very old. Amma is a Japanese word that means push, pull, and it is one of the first formal methods of healing in Japan. It does have a foundation on traditional Chinese medicine, and it utilizes many Taoist principles. Amma is, when I say it's very old, it is mentioned in the ancient Chinese medical text, the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Internal Medicine, which is one of the big heavy hitting names if you're looking at the original TCM texts. And traditional Amma is a medical therapy that does include diagnosis in Japan. From the viewpoint of like a TCM model, Amma massage focuses on like the flow and harmony, specifically of the vital substances, and does address the whole body through specific routines, which are called kata in Japanese, being like a set specific routine. Amma techniques encompass pressing and stroking and stretching and percussive manipulations and thumbs and arms and feet and knees and all kinds of, you're using your whole body to massage this person. And you are working along with acupressure points and along those meridians, right? So I have a video here and I'm going to try to screen share with this. There are a couple of things I would say about this video that are not representative of traditional Amma. This video is of a woman on a beach. Her client is on a massage table and looks like they might be nude, covered by a sheet. And she is working on top of it. But I suspect in traditional Amma, similar to Shiatsu and Tuino, the client typically would be clothed and might be on a floor mat, and you would be working on that person while they had their clothes on, and probably not on a beach somewhere, but that's that's fine, whatever. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video, if I can make it work here. Okay, so here's this video. And so you see she is working through the sheet. She's not using oil. She's not gliding. Oh, things are happening. I'm no longer looking at the actual massage. Here we go. Oh, okay. I'm having issues. Oh, okay. Well, now she's working on the skin, but she's still not using that classic Western gliding approach. You see some stretching. You saw some kneading. So I'm going to stop my screen share because, of course, my internet hates this dual duty moment we're having. But the point is that what you see is it's unlike Western massage where you're gliding, you're using that oil. In Amma, you would be massaging the body and kneading and pressing and stretching, but you would be probably on a floor mat, right? And so that brings me to Shiatsu. Now, Shiatsu is, as a style of bodywork, Shiatsu is one of the more common modalities that you might be likely to find in the United States. It's characterized by significant use of thumb pressure versus other techniques. And though it may have stretching and kneading as well, you'll see a strong presence of pressing in and just pressing in and out and pressing with that thumb. In fact, Shiatsu, the translation of the word, does mean finger pressure, though the thumb, again, is a common tool. There may be a focus on certain acupoints in Shiatsu, but my knowledge is that it tends to utilize more like the path of the meridians as a whole versus specific points. And that's one of the ways that Shiatsu is distinguished from acupressure. In acupressure, you'd be treating in a really like specific point-based way. And in Shiatsu, you tend to treat the full meridian, its paired meridian, and meridianiness. Here in Minnesota, we have a concentration of Shiatsu on Ma. Shiatsu on Ma, which was created by Doan Kaneko, who is still alive at the time I am recording this. This style of Shiatsu was taught at Center Point, and it is the style that I studied. Um, and it uses the same treatment and assessment principles as acupuncture. And so while being assessed, in addition to asking them about their symptoms, you would also be reading their pulse with your fingers, reading their pulse, and assessing the state of their tongue, which is something that they would do in acupressure or acupuncture. Elsewhere in the United States, you would be more likely to find Zen Shiatsu, which has a different philosophical background. It does use the 12 meridians, but it uses more meridians than the classic ones. Technically 14 if you count the midline ones, but anyway. So it uses more meridians, an expanded meridian chart. And for assessment, they will tend to use the abdomen and pressing in and assessing the abdomen versus the tongue and pulse. In Japan, a common form of shiatsu is called namakoshi shiatsu, and it is characterized as primarily using pressing as its treatment application, versus the others that incorporate just a little bit more kneading, stretching, soothing, or other treatment applications. Namakoshi Shiatsu also uses its own set of points that follow the musculature a little more, as opposed to following the classic meridian system. So I have a video here. We're going to attempt to use it, that if it'll load with me recording and using Zoom and stuff. But so this would be what I would call a more traditional setting. This would be what I would have expected to see if I'd been able to find a better Amma video, where you are on a floor mat and the client is clothed. So this is a video of Namakoshi Shiatsu. And what you see, and he's holding his pressure a little bit more than I was taught to, but that's okay. So it might just be that the video is freezing too, but you can see that he's using a thumb and he's pressing in along a line, going down the back. And now he's going to use some, he's showing you his thumb, right? So he's pressing in on that thumb. All right. I'll pause this. And like I said, if you're interested in seeing some of these videos more in their entirety, I will link them. I'll put the website on your handout, and I'll also link them in the description of this video. So you can click to there if you like. But again, some hallmarks of those systems would be Tuina, tends to have that oscillating hand movement. Amma is Japanese, and it will have a wide variety of tools utilized, like kneading, pressing, stretching, using the hands, using the elbows, using the knees, using the feet, utilizing your whole body to perform this massage on a clothed client, even though that's not what was represented in the video. And then Shiatsu, a hallmark would be the focus on using thumb pressure. So as your treatment model. And there's a variety of different Shiatsu forms that you might find around here in these humble American parts. So I hope that was interesting and enlightening to you. I look forward to your thoughts and descriptions in the discussion section. And also, again, just with that closing note, that we want to be respectful of our Asian bodywork big sister modalities, and not, there's a tendency, the reason I'm hitting this is that there is a tendency to like go take a weekend seminar and then put Shiatsu on your business card, which is not fair. It's not fair to those modalities, which are really quite complex and ancient and beautiful. So anyway, there we have it. I hope that was fun. This is the last bit in our traditional Chinese medicine series. So there will be a quiz in the class in this week. And then next week, we'll be moving on to Ayurveda, which is from India. So I will log off now and let you get on with your beautiful lives and see you next time.